What if the people you love aren't just loving you? What if they're showing you you? Every argument, every laugh, every moment of connection. What if they're all mirrors? Not just reflecting who you are in the world, but who you are inside? Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Carl Jung said this. He understood that the people we interact with aren't just passive players in our lives. No, they are active mirrors. And in their reflection, we see not only who they are, but who we are, hidden, raw, and often unseen. At first, it's easy to blame others for how we feel. A conversation, a glance, a tone, it can all stir something inside. But what if instead of being reactions to others, these feelings are something deeper, something we've carried inside for longer than we realize? Carl Jung, the mind behind some of the most profound psychological theories, taught us that we often project our own thoughts, emotions, and experiences onto others. When we feel irritated, angry, or even deeply connected to someone, we may not be seeing them at all. We may be seeing ourselves. Jung's theory of projection says that we project our unconscious desires, fears, and even characteristics onto the people around us. It's like wearing glasses that color the world with our inner struggles. So, when we see someone who makes us feel something intense, whether it's love, anger, admiration, or disdain, it's not always about them. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Jung believed that in order to truly know ourselves, we must first acknowledge the parts of us we hide. Those parts of us that we refuse to look at directly. Those shadows that we push aside. Think about a time when you felt so strongly about someone. Perhaps you admired them, envied them, or felt anger towards them. What if, in that moment, it wasn't really about who they are, but about something within you that you haven't fully faced yet? If you've ever felt drawn to someone because they possess qualities you wish you had, or perhaps feel repelled by them because they remind you of a part of yourself you'd rather forget, that's projection. But here's the twist. What if those projections are an opportunity for you to learn about yourself, to understand the feelings you've been avoiding? Jung taught that when we project, we can get lost in these feelings, but we also have the chance to reclaim them. What if every strong emotion you feel towards others is actually a mirror showing you parts of yourself you've ignored or feared? Now, let's turn to Heinz Kohut, who gave us a different perspective. Kohut introduced us to the concept of the self. He believed that, like mirrors, our relationships reflect who we are and help us shape our sense of self. But unlike Jung's projection, Kohut's mirror is more about recognition. It's about being seen for who you truly are. We all need to be seen. It's one of the most basic human needs. And when we're seen, really seen, it helps us feel whole. Kohut's self-psychology tells us that our identity forms through the relationships we have with others, especially in childhood and early adulthood. But sometimes, we don't just seek to be loved, we seek to be recognized, to be reflected back in a way that tells us, you are real. You are enough. But here's the challenge. What happens when that reflection isn't what we expected? What happens when the people we love don't see us for who we truly are? Instead, they see us for who they need us to be. Have you ever changed yourself to fit someone's idea of who you should be? Maybe you silenced your voice to keep the peace. Maybe you laughed when you wanted to cry, or you stayed small to avoid conflict. In those moments, you weren't reflected for who you truly are. You were reflected as someone else's version of you. Kohut would call this the false self. The false self isn't the real you. It's a mask shaped by the need for love and validation. But Kohut believed that when we are recognized for who we truly are, we experience a true self. A self that is whole, unshaken, and deeply connected to our own authenticity. So, what happens when we mix these two ideas, projection and self-recognition? The answer is simple but powerful. We grow. The mirror we hold up to others isn't just for them to see us, it's also for us to see ourselves. Every time someone reacts to us, whether it's with love, anger, or even frustration, we get a chance to ask, what is this showing me about myself? It's like a dance. We project, we reflect, and in this process, we discover. But there's a catch. You can only truly see yourself when you stop focusing on the other person's reflection. You can only see yourself when you learn to recognize your own projections. Think of it this way. Every time someone mirrors your anger, or your insecurity, or even your joy, it's like an invitation to meet that part of yourself, to lean in, to ask, why do I feel this way? What is it about this person or this situation that's stirring something deep inside me? When you do this, you're not just learning about others, you're learning about yourself. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And sometimes, that privilege begins with looking at the people around you and asking, what are they showing me about who I really am? The people in your life, your friends, family, and even your romantic partners, are all mirrors. Some of these mirrors show you your strengths, some show you your weaknesses, but no matter what they reflect, they're all giving you pieces of yourself. When someone mirrors back to you a part of yourself that you don't like, that's an opportunity to face the shadow, to ask, why do I react this way? What is it in me that feels so hurt by this? Because the truth is, every time we project onto someone else, we miss the opportunity to learn about our own deeper needs and desires. And sometimes, the hardest part of this journey is allowing ourselves to look at the reflection and ask, what is this showing me that I've been avoiding? When you look at the people in your life, know this. They're not just reflecting what they see. They're showing you the parts of yourself that are hidden, the parts of yourself that are waiting to be recognized. Healing isn't about changing who you are. It's about recognizing who you've always been. It's about seeing the reflections in others and understanding this isn't about them. This is about you. And once you see that, once you see yourself for who you truly are, something shifts. You begin to stop looking for approval in the eyes of others. You begin to look inward, and you finally see the truth of who you are. If this resonated with you, if you found a little more of yourself through these words, I invite you to take the next step. Subscribe to Metasilogue and keep coming back for more insights on the self, the psyche, and the journey we're all on together. You're not broken, you're waking up, and together we'll keep unraveling the layers of who you are, one reflection at a time.